For the balance bench, we keep on they seeking to government keepers, megalithic mound builders, it's true. The high places of Antigua, Sadaifu, our work ethic, brotherhood, peace, for commencement in a righteousness, peace, with the reality upon the table. Not no pamper into false sense of security. Just the progress that I shape myself to be. Praise Jah Rastafari just as long as I am able. As I'm able, as I'm able. Just as long as I'm able. Politician with long ranting preamble. The whole populace want their same dignity. Them don't take away everything from me. And I still feel like dispersion into moral and stability. Yeah. Even wicked minds relentlessly. As a fugitive, praying for safety. That's how the thing set up to 360. Seeking the good God of mercy. Seeking the good God of mercy. Seeking Jah Rastafari of mercy. Be a witness to Rastafari, Lion of Spirits. It's not a matter of where you want to believe. Selassie actualize the biblical prophecies. Jah proceed judgment to visibility. Even wicked minds will have me flee. As a fugitive, ready for safety. That's how the world is set up to 360. They're seeking the good God of mercy. Seeking Rastafari for mercy. When the pop culture overdrive of malicious filthy. After marching and agitating for human dignity. It's not how I and I to be. Such a killing materialistic mentality. Think of sharing with equity. With equity. The reality upon the table. Not no vampire in no false sense of security. Just a breast that I shape myself to be. Praise Jah Rastafari, just so long as I'm able. As I'm able, long as I'm able. Just as long as I'm able. Yes, I am able. Yes, I am able. Lebanon back where I said unable. All right, family, greetings. Welcome to another edition of Baba TV, Every Time Fire. And now y'all know I'm going to take my time with this. The brother that I have on the show today, I became acquainted with about probably 15 years ago. I purchased a couple of his DVDs from Brother Sarnetta, where the brother was decoding the nursery crimes and fairy tales back in the days, and I had never heard a brother decode coming from a Rasta coming. I was like, wow, this brother, he not locked in the box. He coming decoding all kind of stuff for us, and he stuck with me from that day, family. Approximately, I want to say about 15 years ago. This is a brother that, like many Africans, if you listen, can tell us what time it is today on the cosmological clock. With that being said, I'd like to present to the Baba TV family. It's my absolute privilege to present my brother, the Honorable Priest Isaac. How you doing, my brother?
My Lord, blessed love. I'm very thankful to be in the fire every time. It's a great joy, to actually sit and hold a little meditation with the eye, the first time we sit and hold a med on this level, so I'm very thankful again. Let me show enough appreciation for the works that I know you have been fulfilling for some time. And it's a joy just to be here, and whatever we have to fulfill this evening, blessed love to your audience as well, the Every Time Fire audience. Give thanks for, welcoming me even into this zone, and I will definitely do my utmost to, rise the standard, my Lord. Blessed Lord.
Mm-hmm. Well, first, Priest, you're coming out with a book. Could you talk a little bit about that book that you got coming out?
Well, actually, it's officially out. It's our third electronic book that we have produced. Of course, you would know of the book Anu, Ancient and Modern, which goes into the whole spirit of Antigua, which is where I was born, where I am really at the moment, and highlights the megaliths of Green Castle Hill that align with the stars. And of course, you would know of the book, The Biblical Land of Israel, which has become the true biblical land of Israel as we have put it into its electronic form again, which really goes into the whole aspect of the science of the theology, really, of the land of Africa plus Arabia being the biblical Israel. And I know sometime in the program we'll get into that a bit. I know that may be a bit controversial. But as far as the book, The Heavens Declare the Glory, really that is our third electronic book. And what it is, it goes into, as the subtitle says, the Rastafari and the cosmic, or the cosmos, basically. And what we do in that book, we merge theology with astronomy, meaning that from the ancient times, those ancient ones, we would have studied the heavens and we had a good understanding of the astronomical clock. Now, this is even made clear even in, for example, the Bible, where in the 19 Psalms, it speaks about the heavens declaring the glory of God. This is Psalms 19. It says, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament show it his handiwork. You know, day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night show it knowledge. And it goes on to say that there's no place where this language is not heard or even understood, meaning that now the heavens, of course, not heaven now. As I said, we're not religiously speaking. This is not heaven and hell, and this is the heavens, which really means the heavenly bodies, that which is above you, the sun and the moon, the stars, the planets. You know, it declares the glory of the Most High, or the creator of all things. And the firmaments, which is basically the same thing, you know, show it his handiwork. And there is a specific speech, a language that is coming out of all of this. And why I said astronomy now meets theology, because there is an astronomical clock. That is why even in the book, The Heavens Declare the Glory, the first chapter is really dedicated to the academical aspect of astronomy and giving an understanding of how the astronomical clock works, you know, and the movements of the sun, especially how it appears, because that's very, very important when you are looking to decode and comprehend or understand, you know, how to read the heavens. You must understand the difference between the apparent movements of the heavens and exactly what is really taking place. And when I say apparent, for example, it appears as if the sun is rising, and it appears as if the sun is setting. But we all understand, well, not all, but I think most of us that at least, you know, have an understanding, we know that the earth revolves, rotates, and goes around the sun, and it gives this impression. Look at the sun and the moon. Now, the sun is basically 99% of the solar system, the mass of the solar system is really the sun. And yet still the moon now, the moon is about the size maybe of the United States. But yet still from where we are in our solar system, it appears, check the word, from where we are in our solar system on the planet Earth, it appears as if the sun and the moon are the exact same size. That's why you would even get an eclipse. Now again, this is to show you how magnificent the hand of the creator is. And I specifically use these terms creator purposely, you know, to get outside of the German understanding of even the word God, you know. So I'm saying now, within this, there's certain movements that take place above us that is literally a story, that is literally the prophecy being revealed. And now I must say, I know when I speak about how the earth revolves and rotates, because I'm speaking from experience. There are many people out there who consider that the earth may be flat and it's in a dome and many different things. Now, I'm not here to actually go against nobody's outlook when it comes to that. What I could say is that we all observe the same thing. I want to make this clear because I don't want to go nowhere close to that, because if I have to, I could put that down too. But we all observe the same thing. We observe the sun rising, we observe it setting, we observe the eclipse, we observe the constellation, we observe the movements of the planets. Whether you feel the stars are just hanging balls on the ceiling, or you understand that we are dealing with massive, gigantic helium and hydrogen spheres that are light years away from this planet, we all observe the same thing. Now, the sun itself has a specific movement, my brother, where it passes through a set of constellations that are known as the zodiac belt constellations. That's really astrologically speaking. Astronomically speaking, it's the ecliptic belt. Now, these 12 constellations, for example, Gemini and Leo and Virgo, the Virgin, Sagittarius, the Archer, and Aries, the Ram, etc., Pisces, the Fish, etc. These constellations are the pathway for the sun, for the moon, and for the planets. Again, this ain't got nothing to do with the shape of the earth. I just got to make that clear so that we don't get lost in the conversation and even in comments. Because remember, I've been through it, been there and done that. But the reality is that we all observe this, at least those of us who take the time. We observe the sun moving through the fish, moving through the Virgin, moving through Leo, moving through Taurus. Now, when you observe this, there is a specific message that is highlighted, my brother, in the zodiac belt. Again, let us take the Bible. The book of Revelation, chapter 12, says that John the Divine looked up in the heavens, and there was a woman clothed with the sun. Follow this good. And the moon was under her feet. And there was a crown on her head of 12 stars. Revelation says that she was in travail, ready to bring forth a man child that was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. But then it goes on to say there was this red dragon that stood before the woman, ready to devour the man child as soon as it was born. Now, remember what the author said, eh? He looked up in the heavens. That's what he said. So when we look up in the heavens now, there is a constellation by the name of Virgo. And for those who may not know, a constellation basically is a group of stars that give a specific picture, formation, whether it be of a human or an animal or some other object. And they're out of the 88 constellations, I could tell you, my brother, as an individual that reads the heavens, there are many very clear constellations. I must admit, there's some that seem a bit obscure, and because of the dimness of the star, you really don't make it out. But there's some that are extremely clear. Orion is one of the most outstanding constellations. I think everybody at least can pick up the Orion's belt. The Scorpio, that's very clear, very large, outstanding constellation. A constellation like even Gemini, very clear as well. Leo looks just like a lion. So no one can tell me personally that constellations and the imagery that they portray does not exist. That's me personally, because some will argue with you for that, and they've never looked up and even picked out a star yet. But the point is now, during the time of September, my good brother, around the 21st day of September, which is known as the spring equinox in the southern hemisphere. Let me be clear. I know it's fall in the north, but it's spring in the south. And at this time now, the sun will be basically on the celestial equator of the heavens. Now, at this moment, as we are still feeding strongly off of the Pisces age, going into the Aquarius age, that's about 60 to 40% difference, respectfully. Now, the Virgin constellation or Virgo, it actually looks like a woman laying down on her back. That's how it looks. Now, during the time of September, you would actually see the sun as if it's inside of the womb of this constellation. And the sun would move out because the sun appears as if it's moving daily. As I explained at the beginning, this is why you need to understand the academics of the movements of the heavens before you go into the apparent movement. So the sun appears as if it's coming out of this Virgin. Now, remember, the sun goes through every zodiac constellation one per month. So in September, it will be in the Virgin. October, it will be in the scale. November, it would be in the Scorpion, and it continues to do that, monthly. But then now the moon passes through the same zodiac belt every month. The moon has a different movement, just like there's a sidereal day, which is a star day, and there's a solar day. They are 4 minutes apart. So that is why you get this clock. It's like the minute hand and the second hand and the hour hand. That is why you get the difference in the movements and the rotation. So I'm saying now, if you study what John said in Revelation, there was a woman in the heavens, and she was clothed with the sun, and the moon was under her feet. I am saying that during the time of September, the sun will be clothing the constellation that is known as the Virgin of Virgo. And sometime during that month, it is just natural. The moon will pass through the same constellation and will be placed somewhere at her feet. Now, hear this. John the Divine said that this woman had a crown on her head of 12 stars. I just mentioned that there are 12 accepted, very important, constellations, 12 in the zodiac belt, which is like a crown. It is like a crown as it goes around the planet. So there you have now, she's at the beginning of it as the woman. She's at the celestial equator. That's why when the sun is in her, it's an equinox. You have equal day and night. So she starts the ball rolling, and the 12 constellation makes that crown. According to John the Divine, she had a crown on her head of 12 stars. She was laid on her back in travail. She had the sun, she was clothed with the sun, and the moon was under her feet. And all of that is happening astronomically. In fact, my good brother, if you would just give me the permission to share my screen here, let me just give the audience a better understanding of what I am saying here so they're clear. Okay, this is the PDF version of my book. This is the book here, The Heavens Declare the Glory, Rastafari and the Cosmos. Now, let me just show you here. Are you still seeing it, my brother? I just want to be sure.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, let me just fly through here. You're getting a bit of the contents of the book. All right. Where am I going? Okay, basically, this is the Virgin constellation here. At least this is one rendition of it. It's the constellation known as Virgo. So the sun now, you will literally witness the sun on the 21st to the 23rd day of September. If you were able to see the stars during the day, because they don't go anywhere, they're still there. But the brightness of the sun obviously just outshines them. You would see the sun right here in the womb of her. At some time, the moon will be under her feet. Look at the 12 known or recognized constellations, and I keep saying known, recognized, and accepted because I'm sure some people in your audience will know that there is considered to be a 13th zodiac constellation known as the Serpent Holder, which we also, go into in this book, The Heavens Declare the Glory. So these are the constellations, the 12 accepted ones within the zodiac belt. And of course, my brother, I'm not going to put everything on the table, but just let me just run through a quick thing here for the audience. The constellation after the Virgin is Libra, the scale. Now, what I'm saying is that when the sun comes out of the Virgin or Virgo, it will lodge in the constellation of Libra. This is the annual event. Every 365 we're doing this. Now, actually, as it will lodge in Libra, it's fulfilling the prophecy again in Revelation. Or Revelation is being fulfilled up in what is taking place in the heavens. Because let me just be clear here, because I know some of us will be wild enough to believe that, well, because when you have two stories, sometimes you show an individual, listen, man, I know that you believe in this. I'm not fighting your religion, but I have the same story written here thousands of years before your story. And people will be telling you that, well, somehow the devil
crept in and wrote the story before it happened. No, I'm showing you, Revelation has a story. And the same story is written in the sky. Now, I mean, it's obvious which one was written first. I mean, I don't think there's no argument about that. Because according to Revelation now, and as the author said, he looked up in the heavens. That was his primary source. So he said that this woman was to give birth. And if you notice, as I showed you the virgin, she was actually on her back. That's how she looks. Lying down on a line known as the celestial equator. Real wonderful when you could, understand the heavens. He said that she's giving birth to a ruler, a man-child that shall rule all nations. Now, I am saying that the next constellation being the scale. The scale is obviously the symbol of balance, of justice, of the ruler, basically. So I highlighted here, if you see on the next page, page 12, I highlight Ampu. You see Ampu seen with his scale, the great judge. You see Ma'at again, morality and righteousness. You see Ma'at there with her scale. Even Michael the archangel, albeit this is the European version, of course, but yet still Michael is always seen with his scale. So obviously we're dealing with symbolism here. Remember, the Most High, the Almighty Creator, is the great architect. That's what the 33rds and the 32nds call him, the great architect, So in the architect of the heavens, the message is clear. So the scale now represents the man-child that the woman was to bring forth, that was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. This is the scale, Libra, because when the sun leaves out of Libra, the scale, the sun will go into the constellation known as Scorpio, which is the Scorpion. This is one of the more outstanding and clear constellation. Just in the same way that I have it here, you see it looks like it really has a scorpion look with a claw or talon sort of look with his jaws right open. And this is right in front of Libra. You see it in the heavens, you marvel. So you have the woman laying down, you have the scale right in front of her, and you have the Scorpio in front of the scale. And all this time, the sun is going more to the south while it's going in the constellations after. And now, remember what Revelation said. There was this great dragon that stood before the woman, ready to devour the scale or ready to devour the man-child as soon as it was born. So, Brother Baba, listen, you don't know we can go forever into that one there, right? But as you could see, this has been put in we have gazetted it. Let's just put it that way. That's the book, The Heavens Declare the Glory. And what it is again, is basically bringing astronomy and theology into one union, to show you how the ancients would have mapped. So even the book, like for example, the Holy Bible, it means solar book, basically. Holy really means the sun, holios and halo and all these different things. And the Biblios, so it really means the holy book. All of these holy books are really solar books. So that is why we put that book together, my good brother. I mean, anyone that is listening, they could even check your channel. I know that when we did the Cosmic series, which is quite similar to the book, but we just put it in writing form, where we showed how the heavens related to the movements of prophecy, related to the movements of the heavens. And I know I have that right on your channel, so anyone could even check that as well. But sometime during the program, I'll give them more information on how they could get the book as well, And
yeah, because somebody said in the comments, how can they get the link to get the book?
Okay, well,
as well, sorry. I could put them in the comments if you like, Priest.
Okay, yeah, well, You're not gonna get it in the Amazon jungle. What you have to do, you gotta come straight to the priest direct. What do? You email me. Well, my email is priest Isaac. You should see my name. I don't know if they can see my name on the thing there, but it's priest Isaac, PRIESTISAAC 27 at gmail.com. But you gotta spell the Isaac right. It's not two S's, two A's. Priest Isaac 27 at gmail.com, and we'll take it from there. Priest Isaac 27 at gmail.com. And we'll take it from there. And we have a special going on, but depending on what else we touch, my Lord, I will get more into that. Yes, my Lord. We can.
Yeah, priest, go to Green Castle Hill.
Yes,
and for the family who doesn't know, this brother hails from Antigua, the same place that our prophet Vaughn Benjamin of Midnight is actually from. And while I'm at it, shout out to Faso, shout out to Choo Choo, my good brothers in Antigua. Shout out to you, family. Priest, go into the tour that you take people on Green Castle Hill, otherwise known as Mount Anu.
Yes, my brother. Well, yeah, even at the beginning of your program, you played a song there from our good brother, as you said, the mighty Vaughn Benjamin Akibika, the high places of Anu. And anyone who would listen to the song, you would hear how he speaks of the whole vibration of the megaliths, talking about there on Green Castle Hill. Yes, as you said, my brother, also that I do hail from the island of Antigua, as far as where I was reincarnated, as far as where I was born. And it is the reality that it is a mystic little place. Let's just put it that way. 108 square miles here in the Caribbean. What we do, I myself and an associate, we have a company by the name of Rastafari Experience Antigua, and it's a hike and tour company as such. But of course, we do a lot of other works under that banner. And one of the main things that we do is to fight and advocate for the preservation of Green Castle Hill. Now, we're speaking of a hill, not a mountain really, just a few 596 feet high. This is the hill, Green Castle Hill. Now, if a person was to visit this hill, what they would notice, they would see countless of volcanic megaliths just spreading across the hill. When I say countless, you really cannot count the amount of megaliths that you see. In fact, my brother, I think I gotta share my screen again, and just so that the audience have a good idea of what I'm saying, because I'm speaking, but I feel like the people gotta see something. Okay, you seen this?
Yes, sir.
Well, this is another book here again. This is the area where you have Green Castle Hill. All of this, as you see in the background, is basically the same area. This is just a little spot in an area known as the Eternal City. Now, Green Castle Hill, just pardon me, let me just flip through here quickly. Green Castle Hill itself, again, let me just take my time here. As you said at the beginning of the program, you're going to take your time. I got to take a deep breath to come here.
That's right, priest. Take your time.
All these pictures I'm showing you, yeah, I hear you. Don't mind these pictures I'm showing you. And even though I have videos on my YouTube channel as well, I've done a whole documentary. Maybe I could actually show you some of it, but let me not go through all of that. But you see all here in the distance, my people. I know you're looking at these big stones here, these big megaliths. You see the size of this? This is the phallic stone. You could see the size of these people next to the stone. But I'm telling you, you have countless, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm not trying to sell nothing here. You have countless, not millions, countless of these volcanic megaliths that protrude out of the earth. I repeat, protrude. These were not put there by the Caribs and the Arawaks, as some people would like you to believe. I can prove, and I've proven. Again, we have videos, even on our channel, short clips where we prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that these volcanic rocks are literally growing out of the hill. Obviously, over, maybe millions of years, or somewhere at least in that ballpark, at least hundreds of thousands. Because again, we're dealing with volcanic rock. You may not be from Antigua, but those who have any affiliation with Antigua would know. When we went to school, we were never taught that Antigua was a volcanic island. It was limestone, clay, and something else. So for you to have a concentrated area, listen good, eh? It's a concentrated area. It's not all over the island. It's a little spot where you have volcanic rocks just busting out of the earth. And you have them in different formations. For example, what you have here, these are thrones over here. Those are literal thrones. What I have it? Okay. But those are literal thrones, where 3 thrones, like for king or queen and the child, coming out of the earth. This is the phallic stone, just like you speak of the Tekken or the obelisk. This is our obelisk here. At the same time, this Tekken or the obelisk is paired with the vulva, which represents the female reproductive system. All of this is on the hill, eh? Thrones, reproductive systems, beds, chairs, all sorts of things. And listen, this lady you see right here is a scientist by the name of Maura Imbert. She is an astroarchaeologist. And in the early 2000s, she came to Antigua and she studied a handful of these stones. And her conclusion is she is from the University of the West Indies in Trinidad. And her conclusion was that the megaliths of Greencastle Hill aligns with the movements of the solstices and the equinoxes. That stone she's leaning on, the phallic stone, according to her report, it aligns with the Little Dipper on the 21st day of March, which is the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere, equal day and night. And the fact that it aligns with the Little Dipper, that means it is in coordination with the northern celestial pole, which is the power pole. That's the house of Anpo. All of that taking place here, Greencastle Hill. So when you hear King Vaughn talking about the mountains of Anu, the high places, pardon me, of Anu, and megalithic, I can't remember everything in the lyrics, but you know what he said. This is exactly what he's talking about. There ain't no disco music. It's poetry in motion. You understand? So as I said, you have countless of these rocks, countless. She may not have studied the countless, but if she studied 18 and she's saying, man, them massive stone line with this star and that star, that means you're walking through the heavens. This is a hill that is being destroyed. It's almost 2 decades now, my brother, that I'm on it. Eh? The politics is deep. Deep. And when I say deep, I mean life and death deep. People may see me say and talk and don't really know what's going on when it comes to trying to preserve this hill from destruction. Wow. So the educational program, for sure, I've definitely piloted that. You cannot mention Greencastle Hill and forget that Priest Isaac is around. You understand? So that is why we even created a company about it. As you see, I have a book on it, basically. Well, the book is really, in all respect, about the island Antigua, which really the fact that Greencastle Hill is here alone shows you that there must be something mystic about the 108 island, 108, where the 108 by itself is another outstanding, the 108 mantras of the Vedas, and we can go deep and deep and deep into that. But the hill itself, that's why we have every year, we have festivals. We have the spring equinox and the equinoxes, spring and fall, and the solstices, summer and winter. Every year we do that. The 21st day of March, 21st day of June, 21st day of September, and 21st day of December. We invite people from all over the international community to come and spend at least 5 to 7 days with us, depending on what how it goes for that year. We create a whole festival around them with 2 hikes, a morning hike and an evening hike, because the fact that you have all these megaliths aligning with the heavens, my lord. Obviously, this is a place, this is a portal. Let me just make it clear. You're dealing with a stargate here, straight up. I mean, I don't want to sound spooky. This is not ancient aliens from National Geographic or whatever. I mean, and them kind of levels there. But stargates are real. You understand? If you want to understand, parallel worlds are real. I mean, it's just a scientific fact. The moment you could say you're dealing with antimatter and matter, that means there must be a parallel world, because that's where antimatter exists. And they do utilize antimatter in PET scans and these different things. So, I mean, we can go deeper and deeper into that. So just understanding that them levels exist. This is a place where you can enhance them levels. That's what I'm saying. Right here in Antigua, in Green Castle Hill. And that's why they're destroying it. It's not like, oh, we didn't know, because they know now. Trust me, we have been on that for years, my lord. So it's not as if they don't understand what's going on. It's just a fight, but I could promise you that I'm still at the helm of that, to the point that I'm more at the helm than ever before. And I expect great things in the very near future as it relates to the preservation and the development of that hill, Green Castle Hill. Yeah, but yeah, so Green Castle Hill, the mystic thing too. Also, let me just share something with you also quickly on that. I know there are other things you do want to touch upon, but one of the things I highlight, even as it relates to Antigua, and let me just put that on the map here one time. So this is the Caribbean island chain. And this is the River Nile in Kemet or Egypt. Not the whole Nile, but to a specific point. It's obvious that there is a slight similarity just in the structure of the Nile. Now, I'm sure we all understand that most of us would have heard already that the connection with the Milky Way itself, again, back to the apparent movement, the Milky Way, which is the heavens, the galaxy that we are in, this galaxy that we are in is the Milky Way. So when we look out at the Milky Way, we see what appears to be a river of milk. That's why it's called the Milky Way. It appears to be a river of milk. So the Milky Way now is aligned with the River Nile. So the apparent path that the Milky Way takes in the heavens is the exact path that the River Nile takes on planet Earth. Can you imagine that? Now, again, that's the heights, because even when we were speaking of Green Castle Hill and the rocks growing out, aligning with stars, ain't nothing spooky. People say, oh, kind of spooky thing is that. It ain't nothing spooky. It's just grass grows out there, doesn't it? Come on. It's magnetism. The stars has an electromagnetic pull on everything, even you. That's why you have stars and planets. That's why it's good to know when you're born and what planet and where was what, and everything is key. So it's not hard to believe that the molten rock from beneath the earth was pulled up over eons or however long it took, and to form these rocks in alignment with the movements of the heavens. In the same way, the River Nile, because from my understanding, the River Nile has adjusted itself over the years, not even the years, I guess, the thousands of years. But anyway, in the same way that it aligns with the Milky Way, there's a similar alignment with the Caribbean island chain. Now, on the northeastern section of the River Nile, as it relates to this alignment, there's a city by the name of Heliopolis. Heliopolis means the city of the sun. Now, Antigua, when you observe, Antigua is in a very similar position. Again, the Caribbean island chain, and on the northeastern section of Heliopolis, or River Nile, you have Heliopolis. On the northeastern section of the Caribbean island chain, you have Antigua. Now, Heliopolis, the city of the sun, since I've been a child, I always knew Antigua was called Sun City. That's why you see the flag here. This is Antigua's flag with the sun in the flag. It has always been called Sun City, and it's unique. They have a few flags with suns in them, but it's unique with the sun in its flag. Now, here it is. They refer to Antigua as the island of the priests. Heliopolis, I'm sure your learned audience knows that Heliopolis is the city of the priests, where the priests would have come and, become, they would be initiated, I should say, into the priesthood in Heliopolis. So now, in the same way now, Antigua, as we just showed you, Green Castle Hill and the megaliths, that's why our archaeologists around here would tell you that the Caribs and the Arawaks and Indians from Central America and South America would have come here and perform rites. In fact, Antigua was not a place where you would have, it wasn't a residential island as such. It was actually considered a holy place, So it is sharing a lot of the same levels that Heliopolis is sharing. City of the sun, city of the priest. They're both located mystically on the northeast section of the Nile and the chain of the islands, which very similar. And they both use the sun as their symbol. In fact, Heliopolis also uses a pillar, like the obelisk, for its symbol as well. You understand? Now, what is outstanding to seal the deal is that I'm sure that many of you would know that Heliopolis, the city of the sun, was once referred to as Anu. Anu is a more ancient name for Heliopolis. Antigua now, the port abbreviation for Antigua is ANU, Anu, because the Caribbean islands, well, every place have an abbreviation, whatever it is, SJB or SKB or KIN. Antigua's port abbreviation is ANU, so Antigua is actually Anu. That's why we refer to it as Anu, because that's the name it has been given. And Anu is the ancient name for the city of the sun, Heliopolis. And they're both, one more time, on the same northeastern section of, their chain and their river. They're both the city of the priests. They're both the city of the sun. And just their history, this is where they would come to get their priesthood and the same energy. So what to me is taking place here is that even the earth would, go in formation to show you where your link is, to show you what you are connected to. So those of us even here in exile, in the diaspora, as you can get, dying as poor as possible, diaspora, those of us, there's still that ancient mystic memory bank that exists, which we can, see here in the connection between Antigua and Kemet. So, again, that's another book there, my brother. I know we didn't really plan to talk about that, but that's Anu, Ancient and Modern Revisited, another ebook, it's really great reading, my brother, really. And that's really it as it relates to Antigua. Well, no, that's not really it, but let me leave it at that for the moment with that one.
My priest, while you right there, talk to the people about Brother Vaughn Benjamin. Because a lot of us really didn't, I don't think, in my little humble judgment, really didn't overstand him. We really didn't. Somebody like that doesn't come through every day. So if you could just, I know you did a video on him when he made his transcendence. But if you could just talk to the people about our beloved brother Vaughn Benjamin, sir.
Yes, my brother. Well, interestingly, he himself also a product of, well, let's say a son of the soil. Pardon me there. A son of the soil, basically a brother that I knew, that I know, not knew, a brother that I know. So we don't understand the science of life too, eh? And 4th of November, that transition was definitely not something I expected. And I've actually lived in the brother's house, in St. Croix, King Street. Even I remember one time he went on tour and I was there with another brethren there, MP. So it's someone I know comfortably like that. I didn't know him as a youth, But when I realized that, hey, this is one of us, like as such, I went looking for the man, straight up. And when I found him, interestingly, he knew of me because it was that same Anu story, the first thing he kind of brought up, the book Anu. That time I had the book Anu in another form. This is actually the Eve version, up to date, to be honest. That's why it's called Revisited. And I tell you the truth, my brother, when I met the brother for the first time, so this was like, so how old is my daughter? So we talking a good little, about 15 years. And because it's his music that gravitated me to him. I know his father, Ronnie Benjamin. I never really met himself or his brother, that Ronnie, at the time, neither. So honestly, when I met the brother and we talking, and I was like, so this is the man here. The man is so simple. When I say, okay, well, I mean, you could see how I move. Now I don't move like this, like I trying to impress nobody. This is the order that I try. But I think maybe because the way we have been trained, a lot of people look at me and I'm just telling you the truth. They just marvel with the robe and the garments and wow. People meet you and you're a high priest. They just ask you that. They say, well, I am a priest. And, I remember one time a brother was trying his best to show me that I'm holy, I mean, I wasn't doubting him, but I was just asking him, so how you know I'm holy? How you know that? You don't know me when I leave here. He said, come on, priest, you're holy, man. I said, but how you know? Man, look how you dress. I said, how I dress? I said, brother, I know people that dress just like this, and they ain't no holy people. So you gotta come a little better than that. So I don't know if it's something like that was playing with me, because when I met the brother, man, just like how you see him move, this is before we were in them big cabins, just the old Vaughn and just the simple thing. But what was hitting me, my brother, is because I don't believe most of the people that listen to this man nearly understand what he's saying. I'm telling you, up to this day, I would say that. I'm sure about it. And if I say, yeah, man, everybody catch it, I disrespecting him, because the man is depths, deep. He have all kind of code in his songs, Believe me, there's an album that he did where he called the name of the next song in every song prior to it. I want to know how much people pick up that. The man is a killer. You check it. And so, and I already see that. I tell you, I leave Antigua and go St. Croix just to see this man here. I say, no, man, I want to see who this man really be. Just a cool brother, cool, simple, man. Like, even when you're moving with the man, you say, wow, this is the man here. And that is the truth, my brother, from my heart. Just the cool, calm, down to earth. You gotta give him tops for that.
Nothing, no flamboyant, nothing. Just cool. You're the one who, if this is where all them vibes coming out of. And you know, he tell me, sure, just burn a lot of chalice, eh? Remember one time he tell me, no, not one time, the first time I passed him a chalice, I remember saying something of, okay, so this is the tool you use to pull down all them heavens. You know, so I just have to laugh, man, you know, just a joy still. But as it relates to poetry, though, I mean, we're talking about the tops there, the tops. You know, the tops. The man have certain songs like, there's a song he has called Wordy Deeds. When he begins by saying, pull up on the balloon string warrior. I mean, them is some deep vibes. Them things make your skin crawl. You know what I mean? Because what he doing in that song now, he taking you through your childhood. You know, sometimes I'm not always good with repeating lyrics, but I might have to have the sheet in front of me. But I know within the song, you know, he talking about growing up as a child, barefoot warrior. It's a heights, man. Because, you know, the Ethiopians as the barefoot warrior fighter. But he bringing you back, especially if you grew up in Antigua and the vibes. That's why I could connect with it too, because that's how we grew up. Young, barefoot, tear up pants running up and down. And you could hear it in how he's portraying it. Barefoot warrior, pull up on the balloon string, you know what I mean, as a child. And then he speaks of how how technology crept in and kidnapped the whole psyche of you as a child. And you know, and he bring the song so deep, man, to its fruition. So, and he continually does that, man. And I mean, wow, and he definitely left a catalog of information for Anna. It's just for man to revisit them tune there. The album Anthology. Anthology to me is the tops. Anthology. The song, there's a song, I did a program on that specific song called Judge the Pride. That's the last song on Anthology. I don't think there's anything ever written that can compare to that. Judge the Pride. Oh my, that's poetry to its highest. And a lot of us, we don't see musicians as poets, eh? Yeah, some of the best poets are in hip-hop music. You know, to be honest, outside of Vaughn, Rakim from Eric B. and Rakim as a poet, and believe it or not, Cool G Rap. You see, you know Cool G Rap, right? Mm-hmm. That is one of the top poet in the world, no matter how smutty he may get. I mean, sometimes I can't take it, you know, but as a poet, not just a lyricist, eh? As a poet, them is top poets. Them is of the level of Maya Angelou, if you want to pull out poets. Yeah, so that's really how I have Brother Vaughn. And you know what I mean? And you can't mention Vaughn and don't mention Ronnie. Eh?
Yes, sir.
Because to me, as you know, Vaughn do a lot of different collaboration under the Midnight Banner and High Grade and all of that. You know? Mm-hmm. But to me, the best works is with his brother. If you call me, yeah, the top 5, if I call the top 5, all of them is them two there together. The best work. Scheme of Things and Anthology, as I said, that to me, that's the classic, eh? Yeah, so enough respect to the soul, man. And as I said, our ancestors are with us. We don't believe in them death thing. We put down flesh and go in a different realm. Like pick up a next flesh and come again. Just look for us, man. We'll find you one day. Yeah. Rastafari is my Lord. So give thanks to the soul, my Lord. Aki Bika, you know?
True.
Yes,
that was deep.
Oh my.
I didn't want you to stop teaching on that.
Well, I mean, I like that.
Priest, I want to go on another note. The hijacking of, it seems like every time our African brothers and sisters on the continent have been coming up with antidotes and vaccines for years for these man-made viruses, and it's like it's a, you know, they always holding them back. You know, it's a constant effort to hold our brothers and sisters back from getting this, you know, this medicine, you know, the cure for a lot of it, you know, to our people, and let that be known. Why do you think that is, sir?
Ooh. Well, I'm gonna run off the question you asked. Why I think that is.
Mm-hmm.
One thing, you know, I know the eyes, sometimes I don't think you even have mercy on the cracker. God, I was listening to you. You are you are always ready to crush the cracker, eh? Straight up. I'm saying, my brother, I am one of them people that say that slavery is still continuing. In fact, not just continuing, I think it has reached its fruition. Boy, psychology is a mystic thing. Eh? You know, when the French doctors said that they're going into Africa, I did a whole program on that they're going into Africa to test them vaccines. And the other doctor in the room said, I agree. And one of them said that we should do it in the same way. I'm paraphrasing it. We should do it in the same way as we did when we went into South Africa to put in the to put in the AIDS vaccines. And they said that they utilized the prostitutes. They rounded up the prostitutes and they did it. That's what he said. I'm sure you may have read it. I don't know if I may add it to it, but that's what he said in a nutshell. Let us go to Africa and test these vaccines in the same way that we. And the reason why I'm stressing that is to furnish the point I'm going to make. Now, there was an uproar. Okay, no, we love the uproar. A few key people came out and spoke against it, like the football player from Ivory Coast. I can't remember his name really. And most of the voices that rose up were saying, no, Africans are not guinea pigs. And Africa is not a testing ground. Now, obviously, I would feel their passion. But here what the fella said in the French doctor said, the man. He didn't say, let us go and test the vaccine in Africa. Let's see if we get a chance or if they allow us, you know. He actually cited a case that was done already. He showed, remember how you see, remember now. That means for you to just jump up and say, we are not guinea pigs. I know we're not guinea pigs, we're human beings. But when we say guinea pig, the point we're making is that we're not lab rats. We're not people that you test your drugs on. I disagree. We are guinea pigs. What are you talking about? I understand, you know, you don't want us to be guinea pigs. Neither me. In fact, I'm fighting against that. But I'm not going to hide from the fact that we are being used and we are being tested upon every single day. Even down to the mask. You have on your mask. To me, that's some kind of test going on. Something psychological about that. Psychological is going on when it comes to that mask. Remember in slavery, right? They used to give you this iron mask to wear. You know, when you either they didn't want you to eat or drink or something because you in the cane field. I know in America they know about the cotton field, but down here is cane field. You in the cane field, you know what I mean? And you take a little bite and take a little piece of sweet stick. And they find you doing that, they put on the iron mask with a lock. Click. A lock, you know. They have the key. So when they're ready, they come and they take it off and say, go ahead, eat something. You understand? Now I find us doing it again. With this mask on our face, something about that, my brother. There's something about that mask on your face. Because we're dealing with a killer that knows the power of psychology. I see people in the house and the gallery sweeping up by themselves with masks on their face. What are you talking about? And we have these people forcing us to move like that, breathing in, you know, unclean air that we done breathing out. You know, this is very serious. And so I'm just saying all of that, bringing that in to show you that we as a people, we are sitting ducks, we are guinea pigs. What else we are? We are all them kind of animals because they can use us and do anything to us. Them little islands that we on, King. These little islands that we on. What you want to tell me? All the harp we talk about. Somebody can press a button and sink one at will? And he just lost and nobody in the world even remember that? Tsunami and all sorts of things. This is the world we live in. We've gone beyond nuclear weapons, my brother. Yeah. So when you observe that now, my brother, when you look at the full scope, that is why even when they talk about cure for things, man, I'm very skeptical. Do you know what cure means? Again, I got to bring in the Caribbean. You know, when I was small, right, we used to corn meat. The old people would say we're curing the meat, meaning that if you catch fish and you catch eel, you put salt on it, just like how they mummify in Egypt. It's like with the natron, you put the salt and it cure the meat. So you don't, that didn't go in no fridge. We used to hang the meat on the line, cure it. The word cure means to preserve. So now we want to cure diabetes, and we want to cure AIDS, and we want to cure syphilis. And hear this, you know, all of these diseases have their own day. Today's World AIDS Day. How AIDS get a day? Not World Fight Against AIDS, let's stop AIDS, you know. Today's World Breast Cancer Day. Them is energy you're putting out into the atmosphere, brother, talking about World Breast Cancer Day. As if it's something to celebrate and we wear a pink shirt. I'm showing you, my Lord, they know how to work on the psyche of us. To me, we are psychologically dumb. We gone. We can't pick up this. You understand? Now we standing up and we pick our fights. Our enemy, like they pick our fights for us. In the same way, our enemy pick our heroes for us. You know that series they have, The Eyes on the Prize. When I watch The Eyes on the Prize, I love The Eyes on the Prize with Martin Luther King and the whole series. Not once in The Eyes on the Prize I hear Marcus Garvey name called. I say, how is it you can have a history of the United States, Black history, you talking about from slavery to President Obama, and you have the whole timeline, and when you reach Marcus Garvey, as if he just dropped in a hole, and you walk over that and continue. Our enemies, my Lord, pick our heroes for us. And I'm telling you, even some of the heroes they pick for me, I'm not really upset with the heroes, but I know there's some bigger heroes behind that. Mm-hmm. You understand? So obviously Martin Luther King Jr., that's a hero well picked for us. You understand? I think most people would say, well, they didn't agree with his philosophy. I mean, in respect to him, I think the latter him is a part that is being kept away too. Even the last speech he gave, if that was the only speech I ever heard from Martin Luther King, I would say, man, this is a killer here. The last speech, the speech he gave the night before he was killed, was a totally different Martin Luther King than the usual one that we heard. He was 30-something years old and past 40. People evolve. People change their ideas. So even us, we are guilty of even boxing him. We ourselves guilty of boxing him into the I got a dream business, because our enemies pick our heroes for us and pick the level of the hero they want to give us. Talk African history, you don't hear nothing about Haile Selassie. You hear about Nelson Mandela. Our enemies pick our heroes for us. You understand? So we, my brother, we are the sitting ducks and we are the guinea pigs and all the vaccines and everything. So Madagascar now, they say Madagascar found their own, I'll just use the term cure for the COVID running around. You don't hear nobody talk about that. We're not even interested in that. We're still waiting on Mr. Gates and Mr. Fucci and all of these different people. I had Brother Alimbe on my program about a month ago, my brother, in the heights of the COVID. I mean, Brother Alimbe, I don't know if you saw those programs there. The brother really Well, you know the level the brother comes on. The brother really broke down what's going on in the scientific world as it relates to the whole aspect of even the COVID, the corona, and all of these different things. You want to tell me this is another thing. The same book that came out by Dean Koontz. Dean Koontz wrote that book, The Eyes of Darkness. Look it up if you haven't seen it. I did a program on that too. Dean Koontz. I'm sure people in the audience have heard about this. I think it's spelled Koontz, Kontz, something like that. Dean, Eyes of Darkness. In that book, it's a novel. In that book, he speaks of this virus that shall come out of Wuhan, China. The book was written in 1981. A virus shall come out of Wuhan, China. The virus shall be called Wuhan 400. This is what the book says. And it is a respiratory virus. Now tell me. And it's man-made. And people that try to debunk it. Here the points that they use. I've seen this being debunked in some of the top newspapers in the US and in England. I just won't call their names. Top newspapers, people writing articles trying to debunk it. And here their main point. It cannot be the COVID of today, because the COVID of today is not man-made. And the disease or the virus in the book was man-made. Now hear that. Who said the COVID not man-made? You're the one that telling us it's not man-made. Why should we trust you? This is serious, and we buy this, eh? This is 2020. 20 multiplied by 20 is 400. Wuhan 400. That's what the disease name. And it's respiratory, wiping out people. Come on, man. So this obviously shows us. This was one of those situations. That's a whistleblower there. It's not all whistleblowers come on TV and radio and chat it quick before they get locked up. Some whistleblowers put it in poetry form. Some whistleblowers put it in music. Enough reggae singers are whistleblowers, eh? Some whistleblowers write a novel. Some whistleblowers, what the brethren in name that die of sickle cell there for Map Deep. He have some words, sometimes he sound like a whistleblower too. So I believe that book was a whistleblowing book warning us of the same thing that we going through, was going through, or whatever. That's the world we live in, my brother. This is a dangerous kind of world we live in. That's the point. This ain't no joke. All you have to do is remember 9/11 and remember the passport of the chief hijacker that they found in the rubble 2 days after. From you can tell us them kind of story, man should sleep with one eye open. My Lord. Yes, I.
Go ahead.
Yes, I. My son was saying that's how dolphins sleep, with one eye open.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, see, reality. See, they understand the science. See, can't fool the dolphins, eh? Yeah, dolphins are smart animals. Yes, my Lord, got you know. I know it's so much things we have to cover.
Priest, I heard you in a while ago, I think it was some months ago, talking about the dangers of GMOs. And our people, we don't like that. We'll spend a lot of money on clothes, sneakers, shoes, but if the organic vegetables and fruits and what have you cost, and it costs a lot. They make it so health costs a lot of money. How important is it for our people to get away from this devil's playpen and his concrete and buildings and get back to tilling the earth and growing our own food? Talk about that, sir.
Well, that was one of the main things that came up around here, again, in the islands. Sad to say. We are a people that the main economical income that we work on is tourism. We look for the ships to come in with Europeans and people of that sort, straight up, to bring us the money. So we thrive on that around here. That's what we thrive on, or try to thrive on. So when Miss COVID came in now and halted all movements,
all of a sudden we were shuffling around here because we didn't know if the world was coming to an end. And you know what I mean, the supermarkets might lock down. Supermarkets became much more important than churches around here. And then now there's this initiative now to try encourage people to plant in their backyard. Although I must say that that was an initiative, you know, just to be fair to the governments to some degree. But agriculture on a whole was not really on the front burner. I wonder if it was on the stove at all. You understand? But now we are caught with our pants down, basically. Well, yeah, I think that's the best phrase. Because you're talking about food security. I get into the GMO, but it's talking about the importance of just being able to eat what you grow. Now, that is really something that is supposed to be done in a communal sort of living. And that's one of the things as us as a people. I mean, my brother, I'm telling you, you know, as a person, I would say somewhat from the old school, growing up, I have a vivid memory of myself as a child. And it's nothing like what it is now. I can tell you now, there ain't no love now in comparison to when I was a child. That village love, and everyone would have had their garden at that time. That wasn't the time when everybody was working in the bank. Everybody had a ground, as we say, a ground. And there was enough to go around just within your community. So even if you didn't have everything in your ground, whatever you didn't have, somebody had in abundance. Somebody had in abundance, and somebody had in abundance. When I go to Dominica and spend a couple of months, you don't know how we just do it. I mean, I don't really go and get into no heavy farming. But you straight up, through precise up in the area, man, hardly have to buy anything. Anytime I'm in Dominica, man, you hardly have to buy anything, no matter which village I go in. I just have to be there for a while. Neighbors bringing this, bringing that, cabbage, carrot, a heap of thing, papaya, all kind of food. So you could see at least that island, that nature island, at least some parts of it, still keeping up that ancient custom, you know. So we lost that. We lost the love of Mother Earth. We don't suckle from Gaia's breast anymore. You know what I mean? We go and buy the milk in the bottle. You know, we don't go to the spring and drink the water. You know, we don't pick the fruit from the tree. You know, we go in the super makeup and open a box and open a plastic bag or take something out of the refrigerator. So they're selling you coconut milk now. They have coconut milk and all kind of thing in a box. When we grate our coconut, my brother, I use coconut almost every day. Even when you put the coconut in the fridge, coconut milk, the cream that you make, that ain't gonna last no 2 days. But yet still they can make coconut milk now and put it in a box and have it on a shelf for weeks, and then you come and take it up and carry it home. That can't be right. Something ain't too right there. So I'm just showing you, yeah, we've lost that culture because agriculture is a culture. That's the first culture. That's the culture we agreed to first. Our culture is agriculture. I'm sure you agree that's the culture. You understand? So even within that realm, that is why the great god Osiris, Asar, that is why he's seeing greed. You know, I heard Phil Valentine speak of this years ago. Well, he was more speaking of the god Amun and why Amun is gold. So I just use the vibes and say, oh, well, this is why Osiris is green, or Asar. And he said that we were gold at once. This is Phil Valentine, one time. And because we didn't the whole, the molecular makeup of the blood, you know, at least the makeup of our blood is very similar to the makeup of chlorophyll. Only that the chlorophyll, how is it? We have iron in our blood. This is why the blood will turn red when it hits the oxygen. It's like rust to a degree,
you know. So Phil Valentine was saying that we once didn't have iron, we had gold in our blood. You understand? Now with the Asa, as I said, the difference between the human blood and the molecular structure of the blood and that of the chlorophyll is the same iron again, and they are what is it in the chlorophyll? I think it's magnesium, which gives the chlorophyll that green color. That's why the chlorophyll is called the blood of the plant. So in the same way now, you remember the jolly green giant, how he's green and all of that, and Hulk is green. We may run from it, but that has a lot to do with us, you know, strengthening our blood by using the chlorophyll from the plants. So I went through that little mystic to show us it's very important for us to do our green juices on a daily level. Green juice more important than heavy food. Yeah, you can eat your heavy food and everything, you know, just to keep up your vibes. But trust me, when you juice your greens, I can speak first of all from the islands here. The bush we have around here, bush, from the vervine, your Spanish needle. There's a plant we call a sheep potato. It's not potato, but that's what we call it. All of this is herbs, you know, like the wild herbs, the dandelion, soursop leaf, all these things. I blend these things. If you want to go on the supermarket level, you can get your kale, uh, the stick celery as well. All of these things are good to blend and drink, and of course it builds and rebuilds your cells and all of these different things. Very, very, very important. The ganja, the marijuana as well. You blend these green juices and you drink them and you take them in. Definitely good for your brain, good for your eyesight, good for your thinking. You know, it's very, very necessary that we keep up that aspect of ourselves, juicing our green juices. So now, if you watch them commercials, like the weed eater commercials and Roundup and all of them, watch the weeds that they kill it. It's dandelion they killing it. I watch it every time. The man come out with their spray and kill the dandelion, talking about weed. Dandelion is one of the richest sources of vitamin A and even vitamin C, more vitamin C than orange. You know, the dandelion, the original lettuce, you know, and they show you that on TV, they're killing that off. You know, all of that is a part of the psychological, you know, mashing you up. So at the same time now, I'm highlighting the natural foods down to the bush that we killing. And yet still we quick to run into the supermarket to buy the most orange of the oranges, the most yellow of the bananas. Oh my. And these are things that are sprayed, you know, to get them yellow fast, to make them more orange than they're supposed to be. You understand? Because this is big business. You know, I know we're not talking about eating animals because, you know, we're not into that. We don't eat animals, you know, no fish, nothing. You know what I mean? People like to tell people, oh, Priest Isaac don't love fish. Like, you know, if you're somewhere and maybe somebody, something, they think, you know, oh, he don't love fish. I said, no, man, what are you talking about? I love fish. I love fish. That's why I don't eat the fish. Because I love the fish. Yeah, check it. I love the chicken too. That's why I ain't going to eat the chicken. You don't love the fish. That's why you're eating the fish. You see what I'm saying? But I'm just showing you now that even in that world, a lot of the meat that people eat in is human beings. You can't tell me no. I don't care what nobody tell me. You know why? Because we're dealing with economics. This is economics here. This is big business. When Brother Tyrone Hayes, I'm sure you may have known of him, from Berkeley University, California. Remember, he was the one that did the study on the drug. What's that drug name? I can't remember the name of the drug. Atrazine. And atrazine, when he did the research, atrazine was turning frogs, male frogs, into female frogs, in the sense of they were developing ovaries and all sorts of things, and homosexual tendencies. And so he took the atrazine back to the company, I think it's Syngenta, because they paid him to do a research on it. And he said, hey, look, fellas, this thing ain't good, eh? We got to get this thing out of the way because it's like a herbicide. And you know how far that reached, to the point where they even looking to kill the man, where he have to be hiding and ducking, and they threaten him and his wife and his daughter, I think, and all these different things, because he didn't give up. When they told him, oh, it's all right, nigga, don't worry, we'll take care of this, he said, nah, man, don't tell me you're gonna still spray food with this. Oh, come on, you go back to the university and do your work. He went on the rampage. His name is Tyrone Hayes. You can check it out anytime. You know, so them food there now, these foods that they spray with this herbicide that turning male into female. It ain't the rich people food getting sprayed with that, eh? You go into the supermarket. You know what I mean? You see some nice, beautiful strawberries. Let's say they cost $9 United States currency. Wow. Oh, that's a bit expensive. But then they have strawberries in the organic section that cost $25. Like, wow, who's gonna buy that? Which one do you think sprayed with atrazine? So the atrazine business now is the food that is sprayed with that goes down, come down here in the Caribbean for sure, and in the ghetto communities of the United States. This is what they say, no, not me. I'm just showing you. And that's why Tyrone Hayes was fighting so hard to get them to stop using it, because it's foods like these that are turning boys into girls. You still there? Okay. Sometimes it even affects them before they're even born, you know? And then they have to still come into this world to see people like Ernie and Bert laying down in bed together, which obviously gonna play with their mind more and more, much more the kind of food that they eat in. A lot of I think it's soya, tomato, and corn are considered the three most genetically modified foods. I even heard asparagus being a part of that. And I'm a man, I love my asparagus. I say asparagus, and we ain't growing no asparagus nowhere around here. So it's got to be something that comes from afar. And I say asparagus is considered to be one of the most genetically modified food. You know, it is funny too, because I'm not saying I'm no great scientist on this level, but really what it does to, you know, we talk about organic, and people got to be careful with these terms, organic, and even we use it and say, oh, everything is organic. That's not how organic work, eh? If you plant this here and there's a house there and a house next to it, that could never be organic. Organic has certain stipulations, the amount of acres you have away from any residential area, type of soil, all sorts of things go into organic. You know what I mean? And remember, organic doesn't mean it can be GMO and still be organic, eh? Let me be clear there. I mean, you have organic broccoli and cauliflower and these different foods, and have different foods that are not original food, because you know the broccoli is not an original food as such. I mean, I eat broccoli now, I'm telling you straight, you know, because we as scientists as well, we know to put things together. But when you go into the realms now, where you start to diversify, remember in the Caribbean, we have something known as grafting. Grafting. I see that especially with the soursop trees, the sugar apple trees, where they cut a branch and splice it and cut it. We known for that as youth, the grafting technique. And I think that is an African technique. You understand? So I don't go haywire on it. But now when you start to splice the whole makeup of the plant to the point that it can lick out your own DNA, it can affect you in times to come. And I think that's the real problem with the GMO food, even if it is organic GMO, you know, because it can still play with your whole DNA structure, the makeup of it, which obviously is genetics and goes into the generations to come, you know. So it's so many different things, my lord, on this aspect here. So many different things. The food, the pesticides. I'm very, very concerned with as it relates to the mental health of our young ones, and the whole hormones and them believing that they're this and that which they're not. is very key, you know, and just the psychology as well, you know, the psychology as well, just their mind frame. Food, we're talking about food, goes into your bloodstream, you know, very, very key, my brother. So yeah, I know when you live in the inner city, it may be a little hard, and especially if you're living in a high-rise apartment, you cannot really plant enough to sustain you like that every day. How long it takes a tomato to grow? You gotta eat every day. Well, you don't gotta eat every day, but you know what I mean. You're gonna eat every day anyway. You don't gotta. But the point is, you know, this is why it's supposed to be a communal thing. That's why unity is very important. We're very separated. We trying to win this war. We fighting against a united enemy, and every one of us trying to win it separately. Like, yeah, I'm gonna go in and be the Rambo here, so maybe I'll get the glory at the end of the day. You'll get killed. You understand? That is why unity, man, is so important. Very, very important, even when it comes to that level, my brother. So yeah, one's got to be careful what they take in, what they put in. Try your best to get, you know, the most healthy food you can get, depending on where you are, even if it's more expensive. Even if it's more expensive. Again, that ain't no excuse right now. We can't be, well, you know, that costs too much, so we're going to eat tuna fish and sardine. Nah, man, spend your money. Make the money and spend the money. We can't be making no excuse right now. You know, I mean, yeah, we can't be crying. If you want to take care of yourself and you got to buy something that costs more money, you just got to get the money. I ain't telling you to go rob nobody, but you are a God. You are a power being. You know what I mean? So if you're making 500, you can double it. If you're making 500, I don't know how you make it, whether it's a week, an hour, a second, a day, a year, but whatever you make, you can double it. I don't care what you make. Whatever your income is now, even if it's 1,000,000, you can double it. The fact you can make that, you can double it. Don't tell me you can't double it. I don't know what you do. I don't know where you work. I don't care who you work for. You can double anything you're making now. So don't make no excuse on your life. Talking about I have to eat this because I can't afford that. Don't come with me to that. No, not you can't bring that to me personally. Step up the game. Yes, my lord.
This is some
You can do it, man.
Family out there listening for Baba is lucky. Baba is very lucky and fortunate.
No, well, you know, in the Caribbean,
to have this priest lift the eyebrow to come on Baba TV and share the information and knowledge that he has in the way that he brings it to us. I'm just so thankful, priest, for you considering to get on Baba TV. I'm delighted. This is one of the best shows I've ever had. The best educational shows that I have ever had, sir. And I don't have too much left in my spirit, but there is one last question that I would like to ask you, and then please take us home from there. And that is the biblical understanding of Israel. And I don't want to say, how can I say, versus, you know, our African heritage understanding and historical Israel. Those two, can you break, if you don't understand what I'm saying, can you break down?
Yes, definitely.
Yes, sir.
Definitely. You know, interestingly, old people, I'm sure I know you have a little Caribbean, you know, the dreadness there. Old people used to say, when they say I'm lucky, old people say lucky is the devil. I don't know if you ever hear that. It's supposedly short for Lucifer. Lucky, L-U-C, you know, Lucifer. Lucky is the devil. But anyway, yeah, so what, in fact, let me just go straight to this. What you brought me in today, I have to share my screen again with the whole aspect with Israel. Well, as you would know, again, this is another, I wouldn't call it a fight. Where is that? Okay, just give me a second here. But anyway, I'm coming there. I wrote a book the true biblical land of Israel. Before it was in book form, okay, I find it here. Okay, that's not it. That's it. Before it was in book form, it was really set forth as a theological paper. And as a theological paper, this is like years ago, the theory of the paper is that the land of the land of Israel spoken of in the Bible, the geographic description of this land is Africa plus Arabia. Now, before I even explain, there is no need for no one to get religious about this, because some people even approach me on the level that, the Bible is, the whole story. The Bible is made up, and King James and something else and the whole nine. And of course, I myself, I can entertain that too. I've done my studies. I could have a conversation with you. But in this wise, it's not about how valid the Bible is. In fact, even if the Bible was written by Mother Goose, that is not the subject here. The subject is that according to the Bible, no matter who wrote it, it's a very respected book, and it is held in higher court. And according to that book, this is my point. The land that is called Israel is Africa and Arabia. Now, and it also brings to the point, and what I do, I've actually, at that time, I was issuing a challenge. I don't even bother with the challenge now, because nobody ever accepted my challenge. I know you hear me, for years I've been on that. I challenge anyone, and it's not really to a debate. We could do it that way too, trust me. But it was more, even if a person, because I've already put down my facts. It's not as if you don't know what I'm coming with. I have a whole manual with my points. I do have more points that are not in the book, but I have a whole manual with the points. So now you could write an article, you could do a video, not to argue with me, just to refute my points. That's all. Or if you want us to have a conversation, interview, radio program, any which way, it ain't gotta be no debate. Like, if I'm not one of them like hype debate. Like, I gotta debate you. People want to debate you, they don't even know what subject. I'll debate you any day. What subject? Pick a subject. That's ego talking. I would tell anybody pick a subject. I don't know everything. Come on. I'm gonna debate you on how to bake a cake. I can bake a cake, but you may be much better than me with that. So what I'm saying here is that when you read the book, and let me just give you the beginning of the argument. According to the Bible, we understand the story of Israel, the children of Israel, and Jacob and the 12 sons, and he had a daughter too, that's 13. But we know the 12 sons, from them came forth the children of Israel. Now, even before that, let me just carry you here. If you read here, let me carry you chapter 1. Chapter 1 is called the initial plot. In the same day, the Lord made a covenant with Abraham, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river Euphrates, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. That's why I highlight this now. Now, as clear as crystal, God is talking to Abraham. I'm not going to even stay too long on the point. God is talking to Abraham, and God is telling Abraham, hey, listen to me. I'm going to give you a land, and this land is for you and your generations to come. Remember, it's Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, 12 sons, 12 tribe of Israel. That's the chronology. Good. So the land that Abraham got for his seeds that were to come was from the river in Egypt. Here it is. The river in Egypt, which is the river Nile, that's the river in Egypt, and the river Euphrates, which is up here. So according to that book, whether I believe or not, it's not about what I believe now. And if I believe black people are the true Israelites or half of Africa, no, we're talking about the book. In between here, the two rivers, this is the landmass that God gave Abraham. Straight up. All right. Now, the land was to be expanded. This was seen in Deuteronomy. And in fact, in the book of Joshua, we actually see the expansion of the land itself. Let me just give you a quick run through here. Now, in the book of Joshua, let me find the Joshua here. Oh, here it is. The expansion of the land. Now, after the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord, it came to pass that the Lord spake unto Joshua, the son of Nun. Nun that's very deep, and that's almost like a next level, because you know the Nun in Kemet, the Nun, the fish is deep, because Jehoshua is another name for the profaned term Jesus. You understand? Very deep vibes. The Nun, and you know, he was the fish, the man of the fish, the fisherman, and you know, coming out of Mary, which means the waters. This is some deep science. People be reading them books and think this is some story. This is deep, layered, esoteric knowledge. But anyway, spake unto Joshua the son of Nun, Moses' minister, saying, Moses my servant is dead. Now therefore arise and go over this Jordan, thou and all this people, unto the land which I gave to them, even to the children of Israel. Every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, that have I given unto you, as I said unto Moses. So remember what he told Moses. From the wilderness and this Lebanon, even unto the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, unto the great sea, the going down of the sun. And that's the book of Joshua. So, what I'm telling you. So the land is to be expanded. From the river Euphrates to the great sea. In short, a lot of things in between, land of Hittites, Lebanon, what. But in short order, from the river Euphrates to the great sea. Am I correct? Good. All right. Not from the river Euphrates to the river in Egypt. The land is getting bigger. From the river Euphrates to the great sea. Good. Where is the great sea? If you are to ask any contemporary scholar about the great sea, they will tell you that the Mediterranean Sea, which is north of Africa, is the great sea. This is the Mediterranean Sea here, the great sea. So we're to believe now that the land of Israel that was given to Abraham, which is now being expanded in the same way God told Moses, but is given to Joshua, is from the river Euphrates to the Mediterranean Sea. Now, that's not an expansion. In fact, the land got smaller. The river Euphrates here, and this is the Mediterranean Sea, which is supposedly the Great Sea. Brother, just follow me. Just follow me good. I'm almost there. Let me read Ezekiel 47. Because Ezekiel 47 describes the land as well. And let me say before I read that, the Great Sea is the Atlantic Ocean. Not just biblically. We have records of British mariners referring to the Atlantic Ocean as the Great Sea. Listen to Ezekiel 47, verse 18. He's describing the land. And the east side Ye shall measure from Huran, and from Damascus, and from Gilead, and from the land of Israel by Jordan, from the border unto the east sea. And this is the east side. And the south side southward from Tamar, even the waters, even to the waters of strife in Kadesh, the river to the great sea. Listen to that now. The river to the great sea. And this is the south side southward. The west side also, oh man, that word. The west side also means as well as, just like the first one. The west side also shall be the great sea, from the border till a man come against Hamath. This is the west side. So shall ye divide this land unto you according to the tribes of Israel. Now let me just say this in an attempt to conclude here. Ezekiel says in description of the land of Israel that there is an east sea. Let's start with that. Now this is Palestine. This is the place that we're supposed to believe is Israel. This little place here. We have in our book the from the Balfour Agreement, and look here. This is New York Times. Zionists proclaim new state of Israel. Truman recognized it and hopes for peace. Tel Aviv this bomb. Imagine that. Well, that ends the hope for peace. Egypt orders invasion. So Truman recognized, you know what I mean, according to this New York Times, the taking away basically of Palestine to create this make-believe Israel. Now don't get me wrong, this area known as Israel today is a small, very small, minute part of the full promised land according to the Bible, but it is not it. And acting as if you're trying to cram the whole story into this little spot is deception. Because again now, follow me good. Here now, according to Ezekiel, there's supposed to be a sea to the east of Israel. Now there's no sea whatsoever to the east of Palestine, whatsoever. In fact, you got to go a very long way before you come to any sea, anywhere close. You have to even cross the Euphrates River before you find a sea. And there's supposed to be a sea, according to Ezekiel, like you go to the east coast of Israel, you're supposed to be able to jump off and dive in, not wondering if you're going to crack your skull and jump into a sea. Then it goes on to say that the Great Sea, this is very outstanding. It says that the Great Sea is to the south of this land. In fact, the rivers in the south flows into the Great Sea, southwards. And then he goes on to say, westwards also is the Great Sea. Now look at this map here of so-called Israel today, Palestine. Israel doesn't even have a well-recognized south coast. It has a little thing here, a little touch here. But this is just an extension of the Red Sea. The Mediterranean Sea, which is to the west of modern-day Israel, Palestine, is two different seas here. This sea and that sea is not the same sea. The Mediterranean Sea and this little south coast for the Red Sea, there's not the same sea. And is there any rivers that flow into this here? I mean, this is a joke, man. The point is that according to Ezekiel, there is the Great Sea to the south and also to the west. So they're supposed to be the same sea. When you look at the Atlantic Ocean, you know what I mean? You look at a map of South Africa, you see the different streams and rivers that go to the sea. And just as Ezekiel says, there is an East Sea here. Look, there's a sea to the east. They call it the Indian Ocean. India is nowhere in sight. but yet still it's the Indian Ocean. You could see the disrespect right away. Then now you have the Great Sea, because the Atlantic Ocean is all under here. So the Great Sea is to the south and the Great Sea is to the west. And I challenge anybody, because I don't even go on deep, we have a lot more points in the book to prove our point. But just this point alone, you'd have to prove to me that the Mediterranean Sea is the Great Sea, and the Mediterranean Sea is supposed to be to the south and to the west. And there's supposed to be an East Sea, just to the east of Israel. From the river Euphrates to the river in Egypt, an expansion cannot be from the river Euphrates to the Mediterranean Sea. So that was put in a theological paper. As I said, my brother, there's a whole book. I mean, we put this in full perspective, using the Bible more than anything else as our reference point, more than anything else. In this book, we use the Bible to prove beyond the shadow of a doubt that the land of Israel, according to the Bible, is the land of Africa plus Arabia, and that the true spiritual Israelites as well in the Bible are the melanated people throughout the world. So those of us that are Hebrew Israelites and try to separate ourselves from Africans, you gotta come real good to prove that to me. Are ye not unto me as the children of the Ethiopians, or ye children of Israel? Yes, my Lord. But let me just say quickly to God, let me share that again. These three books, actually, since we've touched the three of them, as you know, we began with those who came in later. I guess they could revisit the beginning of the program. We highlighted the true biblical land of the heavens declare the glory, which is really our more recent book, and as well as we just highlighted to you the true biblical land of Israel and the book Anu. Actually, we have, my good brother, well, each of these books, as I said, you'd have to email me and I would send you the book in the PDF form. The books really go for a value of, well, that's not its value, but that's what we exchange it for just 20 United States currency dollars. But we have a special on right now where we will be where we give the three books for only $50. You get the three books, the three ebooks for $50, and we also put in a month's worth free subscription of our we have a nightly recorded radio program known as the Shock of the Hour, where we go into many different things. I mean, I'm a radio announcer to my Lord. I just do my thing. So we go into different subject areas. We drop some nice music for you. We have interviews, documentaries. It's approximately an hour program. We do it every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. When it's recorded, we send you the program. You get it in your email, in your inbox every evening, or at least by the morning. The program is known as the Shock of the Hour. So although we have our YouTube programming, a lot of the real stuff, you get it, on our Shock of the Hour subscription program. You subscribe to that. So, we give you a month's free worth of that when you order the three books in the package we just explained. We give you a month's worth free of that, free subscription. So, yes, my Lord, basically, and that's it. And once you have time, I would mind at least just giving them an idea of the homeschool program that we're doing too, once your time is good. But you don't have to force it.
No, go right ahead. Take your time, priest. Teach.
Okay. You bless it. Well, it's more just to give the audience an understanding, that well, we are very passionate about education, real education. In fact, every year we for the last 6 years, we just completed it too. I have an essay and an essay competition around African History Month. I've been doing it for 6 years. The next year will be the 7th year. And what I do, I acquire gifts, specifically laptops, tablets, digital cameras. These are usually the gifts, anything of that level there. And what we do, we go throughout the schools, we advertise it, It's for children between the ages of, usually between the ages of 7 to 17. That's usually where we go. Depending on how much gifts we get, we may have to break it down because we usually have 3 divisions. This is something we have put to our Ministry of Education from day one, and it's not something that is assisted by the ministry. We get a lot of good wishes, and a few business people will come on board, but I'm telling you, my brother, we are the ones that make sure it happens, you know. And what it does, we encourage the children to write essays dealing with their African history and heritage. In fact, the essay is always the same every year. What does my African history / heritage mean to me? It's always the same. It never changes. And depending on the group that they're in, junior, intermediate, or senior, that will tell the amount of words, whether it's 100 words, 150, 300 words, whatever, depending on the year too. So, you know, and the winners would get the different prizes. We try our best to have 3 prizes for each of the 3 categories. But sometimes, like this time, we only could, not only, but we only had, not only could get, but only had first prize for each category. Anyway, you got to be careful how you talk, you know, words become reality. So I'm saying that we have been advocating to get African history in the schools for more than 6 years. In fact, it's because of lack of getting any response from the heads of states that we decided, or the heads of the state, that we decided that, okay, we do this on our own, you know, and we introduced it as an extracurriculum activity, but we wish it was in the curriculum, basically. So we ourselves, you know, a few years ago, I was doing some work in the Bahamas with the Kefren Academy. Bless up everyone in the Bahamas there, and Sister Jacinta Higgs and all the loved ones at the Kefren Academy. It's a Kefren is Kefra, the dung beetle of Kemet. It's a African cultured school or academy, and they invited me to the Bahamas to help them and assist them in drafting up a new curriculum. You know, remember I live here, where people see me and know me and understand, and you know, you get the word, hey, Priest Isaac, you're doing a good job. But when it comes down to the nitty gritty, nothing moving. And people all the way in Bahamas call and send for me to come and set up curriculum for them. So I have a curriculum, my lord, African history curriculum from K to 2. And I have an astronomy curriculum from K to 2. You know, so I utilize that now, and I have an international homeschool program, which, to be very honest, intensified during the time of the COVID, because a lot of people wondering what to do and the children at home and way. So what it is, my program is set in a way that we issue, and if I don't get everything out there, once you email me, I could just send you a short video with the information. But the thing is, how the program really goes, every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we send out a classroom session. And the classroom session is between 20 and 30 minutes. So every Monday and Wednesday, the child will get astronomy. And every Tuesday and Thursday, the child will get African history. The program is done with myself and my children. There are textbooks that come with it. We actually send you the textbooks as well, the e-textbooks. And what happens now, we do a systematic program. Obviously, we give the youth assignments as well. So every morning that they wake up, they should have the program there in their inbox that they watch, 20 to 30 minutes, and it has a summary that goes with it. So when they wake up tomorrow, a next program is there. So that is how we do that. That it goes throughout the whole year, in the sense it's a 10-month program, 10 months. At the end of the program, they do get a certificate from the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge saying that they passed through the course. There's a record also, because as I said, we give assignments, so we'll be keeping records as well, and all of this, you know, because in the schools, if you go to a school where you're getting African history and heritage, well, you're fortunate, not necessarily lucky. You know what I mean? Even astronomy, people feel like astronomy is like
they have astronomy like drinking beer, like you have to be a certain age or something, you know what I mean, to get your driver's license. You should be teaching a little child astronomy, not just twinkle, twinkle, little star. How I wonder what you are. They don't have to wonder what it is. We can tell them exactly what it is. So they, you know what I mean, they become fortified in understanding the cosmos and see how they can relate it to it. So we have that program also, my brother, just to give them an idea of the pricing too. You know what I mean? Nothing to hide really. It's understanding. As I said, it's a year program for 10 months. We run it similar to the school year. You could start at any time, but the first program must come on a Monday. It's already there packaged for you, and the whole year's program is $500, or a person could pay $50 per month. As I said, it's a 10-month program, and our month is not January, February, March. Our month is every 4 weeks. So when the 4th week is done and next month begins, it's a 10-month program. K, first grade, second grade. Yeah, the homeschool program. But as I said, once they email me, brother, I have a short video that kind of give you a little more detail that they could watch and see if they really want to partake of it. And believe me, it will be a strength to your child. You know what I mean? The children we already have on the program, you know, they're gaining such a great strength from, you know, the homeschool program that we bring up. My Lord.
Well, priest, if you don't have anything else to share with the family, I don't have anything else. My cup runneth over with the education that you have given. And again, thank you for the correction. I find myself very fortunate to have Ras, a very mighty Ras from the Bobo Ashanti nation, and from Antigua too, I might add, which is a mighty island. Two dear brothers of mine who live in Washington, D.C., who I spent a lot of time with and have known over 20 years. When I go to D.C. to visit, those are the two brothers that I stay with. So shout out to Buki, shout out to Spud. I'll be coming to DC and have my room ready, brothers. I'll be ready to come on back. Shout out to Ross Israel.
Yeah, man. Bless up Israel, man. Dubtronics all the way, you know.
Yeah, for real.
And you're duking now. You're duking now.
Yeah, my duke. That Duke was so good, the priest. His sister brought that.
Oh, I know, man.
Goodness, it was good.
I know. Wow, I could imagine. Yeah, my brother, what could I say? But I'm thankful for the opportunity to come and sit in with yourself and give thanks to your audience. They've been very wonderful. I've been reading some of the comments. Give thanks to the work that you're doing as well. I really appreciate it. I hope we could do it again, you know. I know we touched so many different things tonight.
Yes. I would love to do it again.
Yeah, maybe one of these times. Yeah, we can do it again. And I really appreciate everything. I really do. I will be setting up a video for you, you know, as you asked me to. So just give me a few days on that. You don't know so many little different things we have on our plate. I think you picked that up too.
Yes.
Give thanks, you know what I mean. But yeah, I'm very thankful, and I just give thanks to the Most High for sending your angel to me, you know, keeping me on my foot. The butterflies are here. Yes, my Lord, give thanks. Blessed love. And yes, my Lord, whenever we meet again. Yes. So you tell me what to. I can humble you. You're playing the last song going out.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do Shanti. We're gonna do a Shanti.
Anything. Yeah, anything.
Who is you? Who you? Why you? Who is you? Who's in a safe protection night? Rapid size and separate the sky, the dirt stop light. It's got like a strike every night. The engine of some all I went by right. This is the song of all I want to know. Let's give me this road to light tonight. Drop up, never just the beast is light. No big man soul, the light would night. Pressure on my rest of the heart tonight. The Twitter run around the world, stays light. It all again, exploding light. It all again on the exploding light. It's just an obsession with controlling our past life. It's just an obsession with controlling our past life. The ancient of some are like wet by right. The ancient of some are like wet by right. The marks of my wet by right. It is that destroy the day and night. It is that destroy the day and night. You need some boxes of society in the night. They get so well in tune to the body was health. They have a mind with nothing to do like it. But no world rights of the night. Keep them up a charm and charisma. Market up to hear with light. They check the back, no one can deny. As we Almighty eye, most time I remember the whole what about this one? What about this one? The ancient monks of all I went by right. The ancient monks of all I went by right.
Yes, my Lord.
Some picture with them, one of the star of them ocean. And all defenseless to the blood supply. Strive up and pick up into the march line. Strive up and pick up